Here is some additional help for your homework when you will be creating a UML class diagram and related tables. So I'm going to continue on with the example of our bank drive-through / teller example. So there's a couple things to remember to complete this assignment correctly. The first is that when we're doing our UML class diagram, we want to pay attention whether it's a resource, an event, or an agent. So I've got my Word document up again, just as we did with our activity diagram. I went ahead and made it a landscape legal document, and I also changed my margins to narrow just to give myself a little bit more room. So I'm going to start out just by listing out my different resources, events, and agents just to keep myself organized and on task. So let's start out with our resources. Our resources in the example of the bank transaction through the drive-through, some resources that we'll be using would be our cash as the bank, as well as the customer accounts. Okay. Moving on to my events, some events that are going to happen would be that customer deposit or withdrawal. Also, we'd probably issue that customer a receipt. So those would be the events in our situation. Agents here in this example is going to be our teller as well as our customer. Okay, so now we're already thinking in that REA fashion, the resource, event, and agent fashion. So let's go ahead and start charting out our UML class diagram. So to do that, we're going to have, for each of our different classes, we're going to do them just within a text box. And again, just to keep this REA format familiar to us, I'm going to go ahead and put a nice REA out on my paper. So I'm going to go Insert Text Box. Now let's do this one a little bit differently. Okay. Make that a little bit bigger here. Looks good. Go ahead and copy and paste this so I can do my E. And lastly, I'm going to have my agents over here. Okay. And just like in the last assignment, you might need to right-click on your text boxes and have it be in front of the text so you can keep your formatting up here. Okay, so my UML class diagram, I know that I want to put all my resources to the left, I want to put my events in the middle, and I want to put my agents here on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my first resource being cash. So again, I'm going to insert a text box. Go ahead and draw this text box. Okay, and this one, I'll start with my customer account. I'm going to go ahead and insert another text box. Okay, here's going to be my cash. Okay, let's go ahead and just copy and paste. My events, here I've got the customer deposit or withdrawal. I also have a receipt. Over in the agent section, we've got the teller. I just right-clicked and pasted. It had already remembered that I had copied. So I'm going to go ahead and put my teller, right-click and paste again. And here I have my customer. In the UML class diagram, we want to go ahead and show our associations, and we just do that with a solid line. So I'm going to go ahead and say Insert, go to my Shapes, and I'm just going to grab a solid line. So I would have an association here between my customer account and customer deposit withdrawal. Go ahead and copy and paste. I'm going to have another one between my cash and receipt. So this customer deposit and withdrawal, we're going to have an association between the customer deposit event or withdrawal and the teller. So we'll go ahead and do an association there. Go ahead and copy and paste that one because we're also going to have a receipt association with the customer. There's going to be an association between the customer deposit withdrawal and the receipt. Go back to my shapes and grab that solid line so I can do a vertical line. Then I'm also going to have an association between my customer with the customer deposit withdrawal event. As well as the teller and the receipt. All right, so I've got my associations in there. Now I'm also going to want to put in my multiplicities, okay? So let's just take a look at a multiplicity for this first example with the customer account, the customer deposit / withdrawal. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a text box. You can choose whatever you want, but I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm not really liking this one. I'm just going to delete it. Insert text box. Make it smaller. Okay. So here I can just go ahead and put my multiplicity in. So here, the multiplicity would be for the customer deposit withdrawal to the customer account. Here, remember, we're going this direction. So we could have, for each customer account, we could have one customer deposit or withdrawal, or we could have many customer deposit or withdrawals. Okay? On the other side, I want to go ahead and insert another text box, or actually, let me just right click on here, copy, paste, bring that one down here. So in this instance, we could have 0 to many. So each customer account could have no deposits or withdrawals, or they could have many deposit or withdrawals. Okay, and of course you would want to do those multiplicities for all of your different associations, but that just gets you started. Taking a look at our tables now, each class that we have here, we are going to want a separate table. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open up a new Word document. And as you can see, I've got my second Word document up here. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and do my class tables. So like I said, we need a class table for every single one of these classes we have here. So we should have 6 class tables when we're done. Okay, and I'm going to start out with the customer account table. So again, I was just playing around and was able to find some smart art here that I liked. Being that same one that we used for our activity diagram, I'm just going to say OK. So for this one, we're going to start out with the customer account. And you always want to identify your primary key. So that's why I like this one, because I could go out and get an image. I'm just going to do an image search for a key. I'm going to grab any image that's out here. Just go ahead and insert. Okay, now that's pretty obvious that this first one that I'm going to type in here is my primary key. And the primary key for a customer account is going to be that customer account number. Okay. Now here, you don't really need anything in here for this next one, which is going to be a foreign key. So I'm just going to search for blank and just, go ahead and grab something that it's clearly indicating that you're not doing the primary key. So I'm going to go ahead and this one, the next type of attribute that I'm going to have in my customer account class, of course, is going to be the customer name. Okay. And this is how you would most likely see the formatting, is just with these underscores in here for spaces. Now, if I just go ahead and right-click onto that shape, I can go ahead and say Add Shape. And I'll just say Add Shape After. You can see now I'm getting more of these different shapes so that I can continue on with my attributes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and now in this one, we'll just call this one customer a phone number maybe. Here we'll go ahead, let's just say maybe customer address. Again, I can go out and search for that same blank. There. So you can kind of see what I'm looking for those class tables, okay? You're grabbing the class from your UML class diagram. For each class, we need to know the listing of attributes that is going to be in that data set, identify the primary key, and let me know the other attributes that would also be found within that table. I hope that helps you with your assignment. If not, reach out and contact your instructor.